Are you an eccentric?
Some people would be led to believe that, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty... When I met you when you arrived,
Yes.
you were a little bit unusual.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an unusual grace.
Yeah, and I find you quite refreshing.
Thank you. You called me a tonic.
Yeah, I think a tonic would be good.
Thank you.
And I read your little booklet, The Apprentice.
The True Apprentice.
I'm so sorry.
It's
The True
The
Apprentice.
True Apprentice, yes.
Yes. Now, what made you write that?
It was quite interesting. I was asked to preach by a spirit-filled Anglican Church of England vicar at his church. And I asked God, I didn't want to bring, a sermon. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
At the back? Yes, good. And the front. He asked me to preach. I didn't just want to bring a Sherman. It's Ben Sherman. That's a word for you, Ben Sherman. I didn't want to bring a sermon off the shelf. So I asked God to give me a word.
Yes.
And I was going to London on the train the next day. And amazingly, God gave me a word. Oh, the Message translation. The first time ever. And it was, if you want to be a true apprentice of mine, you must do these things. And the true apprentice translates disciple. So I didn't want to be a Donald Trump or an Alan Sugar. I wanted to be a true apprentice of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So that's what led me to write the book,
Yes.
which you can purchase on Amazon if you live in the USA, or you can purchase on Lulu if you live in the UK.
Now, in that little booklet, one of the things that you said is that you don't worry.
Yes.
Could you explain that?
Yes, I can. God called me to Woking. It's a place in Surrey. It sounds a long way, but it's within Woking distance. That was on the cards.
Yes.
That's the name of the football team, the Cards. That's even better, isn't it?
It
And it's hard to follow that guy's act, but I'm trying, aren't I?
You are trying.
I'm very
Well
trying.
done.
Thank
So
you.
Tell us about the worry.
The worry, yes. Do not worry. Jesus says, do not worry. It's a command. Mr. R.T. Kendall, Dr. Eric, J. John. It's a command. And we're told, aren't we, do not worry. And you've almost have preached it. It's what first attracted me to Jesus, the Sermon on the Mount. Do not worry. Look at the birds of the air. They don't worry. Look at the lilies of the field, how beautiful they are, and Solomon in all his glory. Do not worry. It's a command from God. And I got called to Woking to build a new YMCA. I was so excited. It was my first work of my own. Blank script. We had a building. We had a bid in the bank, about 100K, but no staff, no team, no nothing. And my first day there, I took everything. I had 2 bin liners in the back of my Z3 then. I took them, and my first day at work was in a porter cabin, which was more like a portaloo. And the treasurer, who was in his 70s, brought me this desk and about 4 phone numbers, and then left the room and said, there you go, Terry. I said, thank you. And I thought, oh, God, what have you called me to do? Or what have I talked myself into? Mm-hmm. And I picked the phone up, and I rang sort of my spiritual mum in the Lord. Sounds very godly, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Bit AOG, but there's a few AOG here.
Yeah.
But I rang her, and I said, we're going to have to pray. So we prayed. But I had to make a quality decision. Everybody say quality decision.
Quality decision.
Not to worry. And from that day to this, John,
yes,
I do not worry. And I'll explain why. Because Jesus says, do not worry. And if he commands you to not worry, he empowers you to not worry. Whatever God commands you to do, he empowers you to do. Somebody's saying amen. That's
yes,
very
amen.
Good. We've got some
yeah,
crazy-matics in here as well. There's AOG. And the text is casting all your care on him because he cares for you. Very similar to the experience you had in the car, Mr. Kendall. And I really honor you, and it's been a delight sitting under your ministry and sharing this platform with you and John. So casting all of your care on him because he cares for you. And Jesus said, my yoke is light and easy. So the grace of God on my life for that calling was going to be light and easy as long as I did not worry and I cast all my care on him. Now, I think for me, I've been so free for 20 years. I've got a very similar testimony to my brother over here and another guy at the back. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, care of the local authority, written off, saved, delivered, healed, served in the church, served in the YMCA and gone through the ranks. And I'm doing what I'm doing now, you know, which is ministering to down and not outs. We're writing them on for Christ and winning souls and ministering to all the most vulnerable people in Woking and Surrey. We're magnifying the sea in the YMCA again. It was built by great philanthropic evangelicals. Dr. Bernardo was one, Lord Shaftesbury was one. So we're doing that, and I get called, I'm an evangelist, you know, I get stacks of preaching engagements all over. More than my preacher does, you know.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual. Gift and intermediate as well, and God's given me an unusual grace. I was with Greg Dyke 2 weeks ago, and I was also with, I've got a name drop so you know that people are being touched for Christ, you know. And I was with Max Clifford, PR guru to all the celebrities, media, you know. So we're getting into the media, my brother. And so casting all your care on him because he cares for you. Now, sometimes, for me, it was easy to cast the big cares, but it's casting all your cares. Whether it's somebody made a joke before, I've got a bunion, right? And it was funny, I thought, you said onion, but it was a bunion, right? But if you've got a bunion tonight, or you've got an overwhelming heaviness or burden for your building in Africa, as I met with Andy. Andy came to see me, and he saw me in my lightness and ease doing this work because I refused, point blank, to worry. Because if he's called me to do the work, he's going to provide. Worry, guys, he provides, doesn't he?
Of course he does.
And so I refused to worry. And 4 years down the line, now we've got 15 staff.
Yeah.
We've got an £500,000 budget, revenue, you know, we've got 30 volunteers. We can't fit anybody in the first phase of the building now. We're doing all stuff with kids on the verge of exclusion, single-parent families, homelessness. We're building 2 housing projects starting. We're starting on our second phase. God's given me great faith. We've got Paul Weller, who's a music icon. And it's just extraordinary that as you allow God to build your work, what he does. So,
do not
worry.
Because it's a command.
It's a commandment. And if God commands, see, it's very, somebody said something once that I picked up, right? If you see a promise in the Bible, claim it and believe it, it's yours. And declare it and confess it and believe it, not just over you, but over those around you. If you see a command, do it. I forgot the third point. There's another thing in the Bible.
That'll do.
But those 2 are good, are they?
Terry Eckersley.
Give Jesus a round of applause, not me.
Absolutely. Thank you.